Hey guys, this is Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge. Today we are having another quick update about COVID and politics here in Minsk, Belarus, and outside Minsk, I guess. This is a very nice sunny day. It's Russian Orthodox Christmas, so my greetings to everybody who celebrates and watches my channel. And today we'll cover the usual things: economy, COVID situation in Belarus, travel modes, and travel restrictions, if any. Thank you for staying with the channel. Let's see the headlines of the past week. It is fairly hard to say what is happening in Kazakhstan. Of course, the official government says that international terrorists are rocking the situation and it's almost under complete control, that the main squares and main areas are under control. The neighbors with Orthodox Union have swiftly sent some troops over there to help Russia and Belarus, to be specific, and the national air carrier here, Belarus, is promising to renew the flights from 7th of January on to Nur-Sultan, the capital of Kazakhstan, as long as the full security of the passengers and the flights is ensured. Let's see if they are going to fly there tomorrow or if they're not. In Kazakhstan itself, the internet has been disabled, so that obviously affects the economy, just like in August 2020 over here. On top of other things, you just don't know what's happening, and this creates the anxiety of not just investors but ordinary people. Guys, what do you think is happening in Kazakhstan? Is that a color revolution sponsored by the West, or is it really the locals tired of clans sharing the country's capitals and, ditching what's left their way? Do you think they're fighting for freedom, or do you think it's just the stability rocked by the West? Say in the comments. As I mentioned earlier, we have Russian Orthodox Christmas in the country. It's one of the major religious holidays in our generally secular country. It's declared that Russian Orthodox people make about 80% of all the believers in the country. Official statistics may be trustworthy here. This day is a state holiday. Along with other major political changes here in Belarus, in February we're standing by to have a referendum for the new constitution. The new constitution is now being redone, is being considered, amendments to the constitution, like changing paragraph that a marriage is a union between a born man and woman. There was no word born. They want to put it in so as to make it a very classical and traditional way, and to avoid any troubles when mixed families like that are adopting kids and going through social processes that a family normally goes through. I will not comment on that, of course. The other amendment that people kind of want is to get the 2 terms of the presidency back. Right now it's unlimited. As long as the leader is okay, the nation can vote for him as much as they please. Voting in February is crucial for me and most of you guys, I guess, because after that we may have some more vaccination use here in Belarus. For now, vaccination, COVID or masks is not a problem. The yesterday's figures are 1,100 cases registered in a day, some 15 dead, and there are no reinforced masks, vaccinations, limitations. As you know, self-isolation has just been lifted. As far as I know, it's for those who have vaccination, and there are no indicators that some of these things will be reinforced. Travel to Belarus is not really restricted, but it's a little bit challenging. If you want to fly in using visa-free mode, you have to be cautious with Moscow, because visa-free doesn't work via Moscow, and flying on a Belarusian visa via Russia, you still need a Russian transit visa. You may fly via Istanbul, via Georgia, and a couple of other places like Dubai. The local airport website, I'll put it in the comments, is the best way to see which flights are actually landing here in Minsk and which you can book. For the Americans, it's a bit hard to book them straight because there's still Biden's ban on booking flights directly to Minsk. So you may want to fly to Istanbul and get the booking from Istanbul to Minsk separately. If you come on a visa, like Americans have to because they're no longer visa-free, you may opt for a cheaper flight to Vilnius or Warsaw and then just take a bus. The buses are running, my clients are arriving, and it's not a problem. And if you have any questions about how to get a business visa, you know where my contacts are. As you know from the previous releases, one of our economic policies here is to keep the prices stable for a certain category of products. In December, the category was shortened, so the prices were going up through December and early January for things like buckwheat, rice, live fish, black tea, and a couple of dozen other items. Now, honestly speaking, I've past the period of my personal crisis when I had to check the prices of each thing, and I'll release a video sooner or later about how much food costs here in Belarus based on a shopping cart, my average shopping cart. But for now we can only say that prices are going up and buckwheat picked up by 20%. So this is an ongoing trend, and let's see what happens by the end of the quarter. We have a curious development with our western neighbor. Poland may have a grudge with Belarus quite soon, and it just brews up out of a pretty ordinary though tragic event. A 22-year-old lorry driver going to Brest, that's southwest towards Poland, apparently hit a car, and that resulted in a murder, in the killing of two local ladies in their 30s. So the local media says he was trying to run away, and the consulate of Poland in Belarus was trying to shadow that runaway, and now they're getting some kind of a diplomatic scandal out of it. And one of the consulate personnel is one of the members of the Polish consulate in Belarus is about to get kicked out for that. Whether or not this will escalate our tensions with Poland, that you remember came out of the refugee issue at the border, it's hard to tell from now, but obviously someone is trying to make it look very big and very, very important. For now, our consulates in Poland are functioning, visas are being issued, that's not a problem. The 2022 state budget of Belarus has been planned with a certain deficit. I'll put some figures on the screen, but briefly they are expecting to collect more fines. May I remind you that the base unit of Belarus that makes the let's say ground unit, basic unit of fines and fees charged by the state has increased, and it's now 32 Belarusian rubles. And respectively, they are going to charge more money on speed fines and other violations that are penalized by fines. The income taxes are also expected to go up, but still the budget is going to have a deficit, and we'll see by the end of the year if calculations were any good. Apparently the state debt is now taking about 12% of the state's annual budget, and this is a considerable amount, and that's just to service the debt and to pay off the interest rate to whoever loaned us money. Speaking of this, apparently the state employees like teachers, doctors and other guys on state jobs are going to have salary cuts, and apparently some of them are going to be sacked, although there's quite a deficit of medical personnel right now in Belarus. The army of investors into Belarus is growing a bit shorter. Leroy Merlin, if I got the name right, has just shut down the company, and the shop is not really going to be opened in northern Minsk. After August turmoil of the last year, they were of the year before the last year, 2020, they were kind of conservative about how to proceed, and apparently this has come to this kind of ending. From January on, local tax offices will be charging 20% for income tax of the people who don't really declare anything. They will match one's last 10 years' incomes, spendings, and spendings of a certain amount of money are fixed with the tax office, and will charge an extra income tax if the person can't explain where the money is coming from and whether or not taxes have been paid for that. For foreigners buying flats in Belarus, from this year on, there'll have to be a 50 ruble a year tax if it's a flat in Minsk. Double check with your tax consultant, it's just the way I understand it. And you should get your taxpayer's identity number in your local tax office. The same thing happens for the houses. Village houses that we're buying, the tax identification numbers are assigned by local tax, and the rent for this land plot and the tax for the house are so far under $10 a year. Apparently China, one of the major international partners of Belarus at this point, has tried out an alternative delivery route around Belarus. With the borderline issues with the migrants and other factors involved, I guess they are a bit anxious about how the economy is going to work and are checking out alternative supply routes to Europe. Well, this may or may not be an indicator that something isn't quite right here in this realm. Prices are going up, and even the National Bank conducted its own survey asking people about what they think about the prices going up, and over 50% said that prices are pretty steep and are going up too much. And some 80% confirm that they are saving their life savings keeping life savings in a foreign currency. May I remind you that since the 90s, dollar has been historically the sought-after currency, stable, nice, attractive, and again stable. So most people have their mattresses stuffed with those. Euro is a new alternative, so some people may believe in that, but you know, at the other end of the screen there, you may laugh about either choice. As you see, guys, 2022 within the first week is quite full of all sorts of events, international and national. Let's hope the year is not going to be as challenging as, let's say, 20 and 21 after Ryanair especially, and see where it's going to in less than a week from now, I guess. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Donation links, contacts are under this video in the video description. Thank you for staying, thank you for supporting. Shop responsibly, and I hope to see you in Minsk someday. Cheers.